Looks like Dakota and Jaden and Lucas and Vero. This is awesome. And just a little reminder of what we're here for and kind of the purpose of book clubs is to make meaning. See, humans use strategy to construct meaning, so to make meaning from the text. And when everybody comes prepared with their different book club jobs, we can actually discuss the book deeper and maybe, think of something that you hadn't thought of before when it comes to the novel. So, just a little review of what some of our goals might be, and that is to communicate with each other, to collaborate together, to think critically, and to use a little bit of creativity. So the communication and collaboration really go hand in hand. Um, I mean, when somebody's communicating their thoughts and then maybe you ask them a question or ask them to go deeper, that's communication. Collaborating, it just means working together and, not just sitting there and not paying attention to your classmates, but, actually giving them your attention when it's their turn and vice versa. Critical thinking, that's a really big job that the discussion director brings to us. The discussion director often comes with questions that are critical thinking questions. And then I also come up with those questions for you as well. And we discuss those. And then, of course, creativity is the way that you present a job can be quite creative. Um, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna take us to our book club site. Okay, a couple things I wanted to just review before we jump into everything. You do have this link right here, Book Club Jobs, where you can always find the description of all of the different jobs. And as people are presenting today, if they don't want to, if they don't need to share their screen, then I'll pull up the particular job so that you can kind of read what it is that their job was and what they're doing as they present. Choice. Okay, so this is a link that I have started filling out a little bit more. Just different things that you can use when you're doing your book club jobs. You don't necessarily have to always do a Microsoft Word document where you just type something. There's other ways that you can present your work. And then discussion questions. There hasn't been any new ones. There should only be 3 still. So if you have not done these 3 discussion questions, this is part of your grade. It's part of your writing grade as well. So you'll just have to spend a couple minutes catching up on those questions. Like I said, I have not put any new questions in there. So if you've already done all 3, then fantastic. Let's say that you've already done the first 2, but not the third one. What you would do in the first 2 questions is you would say already done. And then you would just go to the question that you have not done yet and give your answer. And then you'll hit submit. You'll notice that you have to type something into every box because that little red star is there, or it will not let you hit submit. So if you have not done those 3 questions yet, that will definitely be something for you to do. We have a little bit over a week until we meet again, and I'll talk about the schedule in a second. So you have plenty of time to get those done. Okay, assessments. I did actually fill this out a little bit, and from a student perspective, this isn't something you need to know all of these vocabulary words that I have in here. But really, what it's saying is that you're always being assessed. You're being assessed every time you come to class and present your work. You're being assessed with the discussion questions that I just showed you that you filled out. So it's kind of like a continuous thing. This word right here, summative, means at the end. So that's like the test at the very end of the entire book. So that will be coming up in the future. Jaden, did you have a question?
It's just I already did that quiz.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so you're already like caught up on your discussion questions. That's great.
Yeah, I finished the quiz like ages ago or something.
Perfect. That's great. And I will always tell you when I add a new question to that discussion thing. Right now, there's only three. So if you've already done those three, then great. That's great. And then, of course, back to our schedule. This kind of leads me to where we are going to pick up today. Today is the 28th of January, so here are, the jobs and the different people who were responsible for those jobs today. But then I wanted you to just think ahead to next week. Next Monday, we do not have book clubs. We will have it on Thursday instead of math. So it'll be the same time, but it'll just happen on Thursday instead of Monday. And that's just kind of because of all these funky holidays that we have going on in January and February. Okay, so enough about all of that. We'll go ahead and kind of backtrack to our agenda. Scroll on down. Okay. Oops. There we go. So we'll start with the jobs, and I always like to start with the summarizer job because it kind of just recaps everything that you've read for this last week. So our summarizer for today. Okay, let me go back to my schedule. It looks like the summarizer was Dakota. So Dakota, do you have a summary you'd like to share with us? Dakota, your microphone is on, so you can just talk.
No, not really. I haven't really found anything that is important.
Okay. Haven't really done anything that's important. Okay, well, I was telling the last class.
Something that's important to the book. It has to be something that's important to the book, Dakota. Well, also, I haven't been reading much because I've been trying to catch up on schoolwork.
Okay, well, who would like to tell me kind of just an overcap of what you remember, and that's a summary, what you remember reading from this last section? You could just tell me like one thing that you remember, and then I actually have some questions that'll help us summarize. So, was there one important event that anybody remembers that would like to share? Okay, well, I'll get you thinking. I'll start with some questions that will help you start remembering. Okay, so here's our Dear Mr. Henshaw questions, and you are more than welcome to pull this up on your own and type into it as well if you'd like to. But I'll also be the one typing anything that you share verbally. Yes, Tyler, did you have um, maybe a memory of something that you read that was important that stuck out to you? I thought I saw you raise your hand.
They
Maybe.
had a divorce. hmm They, um, they, they had a divorce.
Oh, yes. Okay. So his parents went ahead and divorced. So that was a key event that happened in that last section that you just read. Anything else? And remember, sometimes it's really helpful if you come to book club with your novel nearby so that you can always, kind of flip back in the book. Um, a lot of times it helps you remember. Very good, Tyler. Okay, well, that was a very important part. Let's do a couple more of my summarizing questions. So, my first question for you is why does Dad like to have or take Bandit in his truck? Go ahead, Lucas.
Because because it keeps him awake when
Okay.
he's driving.
To keep him. Oops, there we go. While driving. Perfect. Any other thoughts on that? How does Lee feel about Bandit being gone all the time? Go ahead, Jaden.
Um, it, whenever there's kids nearby, they can like play with Bandit.
Yeah. Okay. But how does Lee feel about Bandit being gone? Go ahead, Dakota.
Not not that
Yeah,
happy.
that's right. Lee was.
Sad and upset because he barely gets to see Bandit.
That's right. Good. All right. Okay. Question number 2. How did Lee get Bandit? How did he get Bandit? How did he have Bandit come into his life? You guys remember that part? Did he go to a pet store and just buy him? How did he get Bandit? It's all right. We could come back to
A
that question.
little nursery, a nursery for dogs or something.
Yeah, Dakota actually typed it into the chat. He found him on the road. Oops, sorry. Okay. All right. And now here's a pretty important question, a little bit deeper than the first two. Why doesn't Lee have many friends?
Uh, um, because they thought he was weird.
Okay, why do they think that he's weird?
Uh, I don't know.
Uh, okay. There's somebody who has a lot of stuff going on in the background, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start guessing and muting people, see if I can make it a little more quiet. um, okay, so Lee doesn't have many friends because people thought he was weird. Well, what makes Lee different than other kids? Is there anything different about Lee? Lucas?
He likes books a lot, like the Mr. Henshaw's books.
Yeah, and those books he's been reading since he was what, in kindergarten or something? So,
First
um,
grade.
yeah, first grade. Sorry, yeah, first grade. So he likes books, and one author he's been following since first grade. So sometimes, other kids will look at you the older you get, and Lee is now in what, sixth grade? And they think that that's kind of funny, to still be following that same author. Um, and Vero just typed into the chat that the kids also thought he was weird because he was in a new school and he didn't really know anyone yet. Okay, good. Perfect. All right, another summarizing type of question. Who is Mr. Friendly? And why does Lee like this guy? Who is Mr. Friendly?
Uh, I think he's like a student or teacher. I don't know. Probably a student.
Well, typically when you're talking about adults, you address them as a Mr. or Mrs. So it is a teacher. Thank you, Dakota. And um, Dakota, can you tell me a little bit more about this teacher?
I can't really tell much because I think Lee likes him because he gives him a little bit of a break from and like a whole bunch of school when he
Okay.
needs it. And he puts his and he like ties flags together to make them look like something.
Yeah. together. So he's maybe a little bit more fun or something. Um, he pulls the flag up every morning. Yeah. Um, yeah, he's a little more fun, maybe. Okay, good. All right, we will come back to numbers 5 and 6. I don't remember if I have a seven. Let's see. Nope, 5 and 6 a little bit later because those are some more of my more critical thinking type of questions. So we will save those more towards the end. And we will move on. We have a connector, an illustrator. Oh, our illustrator is really, really sick with the flu right now, so that's not cool. But we have a discussion director, a word wizard, a quotable quoter, and another connector. So, do I have any volunteers to go next? Okay, Tyler. And Tyler was the quotable quoter. It looks like. So I will go ahead and pull up that job. And Tyler, do you want to share your screen or how would you like to do this? Oh gosh, sorry Tyler. There you go. Your microphone's on.
I'd like us to share it, Emily,
Okay.
and
So just a little review of what Tyler did. Tyler found um, two parts of the story that he's going to share with us, and it could have been, and he'll let us know if it was a good part, funny part, or why he chose those parts. So go ahead, Tyler.
um, even though there's not a sad part in here, um, I I thought a sad would that still work?
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, it's on page 20, and it says, after the divorce, Mom and I moved from Bakersfield to the Pacific Grove, which is in California's Central Coast, about 20 miles from the sugar refinery at Spreckles, where Dad used to haul sugar beets for before he went cross country.
Okay.
I thought that was a sad part because that that's where he says that um his mom and dad got a divorce.
Yeah, so that's kind of where he said that his mom and dad were divorced and that he had to move. And they moved to a place that kind of also reminds him of his dad, which is also sad. So, yeah, does anybody else have any comments on that? But I think that's a really important part. It shows, that Lee has some kind of deep feelings about this divorce. Anybody else agree or just, want to throw in a comment?
I like it very much. I just love it. Very good, Tyler.
I think it was a good part too. I think that he did a great job of finding an important part as well as a sad part. Like I said, Lee was pretty torn up about this divorce. Divorce, affects kids different ways, and sometimes, and Vero just typed into the chat that she agrees. Sometimes a divorce can be really tough on a kid, and other times they handle it really well. Lee's kind of having a tough time with it, so. Okay, good job, Tyler. And why don't you share your second part?
My second part is on page 35, and to me, it's a funny part.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Friendly, the bear is upside down. This is a new paragraph, because Miss Martin says there should be a new paragraph when a different person speaks. Mr. Friendly said, well, so it is. Wow. How would you like to turn right side up?
Oh, that was a pretty funny part, actually. I agree. Um, yeah. Anybody else agree?
Very good.
That was a funny part. And
Very
and you know
good.
what I really liked, Tyler, is that you found two very different parts. You found a serious and sad and important part, and then you on for your second example, you found more of a lighthearted kind of joke type of part. So
I meant to do that. I meant to do that.
Did you? That's great. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that you did because a lot of times kids will just go and find only funny parts. And, it's a little bit more interesting when you have a variety like Tyler showed us. So that was great.
You did really good, Tyler.
You did. That was good. Okay.
Oh, welcome.
Do I have any volunteers to go next? Okay, Jaden. Jaden, what was your job?
Sorry, just getting a drink.
That's
My
okay.
drink's over there, so I don't spill it on the computer.
Perfect.
Mine was Word Wizard.
Word wizard. Okay. So, Jaden, would you like to share your screen or how would you like to present?
I have it written down.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So then he will just kind of tell us verbally, and hopefully you all have the copy of the book with you. Tyler also did a really good job of telling us what page number to find things on. That really makes it easy. Um, but okay, so Jaden's job was to find 6 words, and he's going to tell us why he chose those words as well. And we're going to talk about what those words mean.
Well, my first one on page 32 is canapes.
Okay, can you spell that word for us? And I will type it into the chat for everybody.
Canapes. Page 32.
Oh, good. Can you read it in the sentence?
Um, Canapes. The little things she calls canapes. Sometimes I get slice of. Well, in the book, that's what it says.
Okay, well, why did you choose that word?
Um,
To me, it's strange, but
to me, I just used it so I can just get this word wizard job done.
okay.
The next one is quiche, page 32. Again, pie with different fillings.
Now,
Pie with
quiche is delicious. Has anybody else had a quiche before? I bet you have, even if you don't remember. But okay, so that word, did you choose it just because it's kind of strange, or
there were the two I just said are new.
oh, they were new to you? Okay, good.
Yard, page 34. A rope for raising things. I think they're just all new words.
Okay, so all of those words were new to you, and that's fine. When it comes to the word wizard, a lot of times the words that the person chooses are new, and maybe they had to look up what they meant. Or, what's another way that you can figure out what a word means if you're reading and you come across something and you don't know? You can always use
Uh,
context clues, right?
yes, context clue.
Yes, I'm going to type a little bit about context clues into the chat while you go on and share your next word.
Um, my mom said I should at least just write 3. I don't know why.
Okay, I'm going to finish my thought right quick and then I will go on. I want everybody to see this into the chat. Okay, so using context clues, when you come across a word that you don't know, I mean, obviously you can go get a dictionary and look it up, and that's fine. Or you can use the sentence that you find the word in, or even the entire paragraph that the word is in to kind of figure out what it is that that word might mean. And if you just read the rest of the sentence, a lot of times it will just make sense to you by using the clues in the rest of the sentence. A lot of times there's clues in pictures too. But the older we get, the less pictures there are in the books. So a lot of times using the sentence that you found the word in is a really great way to figure out the meaning. And did you know sometimes they even put the definition of the word in the sentence. Like, let me just give a really easy example. I'm going to type it into the chat. Furry pet. Okay, so if you look at the chat right now, let's just say, and I mean, this is really simple. Let's just say you came from another country and you don't know what a cat is. Well, look, there's a context clue in that very sentence. I renamed it a furry pet. So right away, you can figure out just by using the other words around that word cat what it meant. Give me a thumbs up or a happy face if that made sense using context clues. Okay, good. All right. That's good. Okay, so we got a couple people who, using context clues to figure out the meaning of an unfamiliar word, made sense to them. So, Jaden, was that all of the words that you found, or did you have any others? I think he's done. Okay. Do I have another volunteer to go next? Let's go back to our schedule.
I can.
Okay.
Now, my mom said I had to do at least 3. I don't know why.
Yeah, 3 is fantastic. Good work.
Yeah, I did half.
That's great. I'm glad you did something. So, okay,
Okay.
who was it that said that they would like to share next? I'm sorry.
I would.
Okay, go ahead, Vero. You were our connector. So, Vero, would you like to share your screen, or is that not, how would you like to present?
I just wrote it down.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. So, I think we all probably know what the connector is supposed to do, but just a review in case you don't, they're making a connection to their own life or to another book that they've read or a connection to the world. Okay.
Okay. So I'm bothered when someone steals something out of my lunch bag. So I think this happens in other books or stories.
Sure. Can you think of an example of another book or story where that might have happened?
Hold on. Like in Magic Treehouse.
Yep. That's great. So that is a text to text connection.
And then I have another one.
Okay.
So I wish that someone could stop stealing my stuff. That someone could stop stealing my stuff. So this happened in my life.
Oh. So this was a text to self connection. So when do people steal things from you, Vero?
Like sometimes someone comes into my room and steals something, like my little sister.
Yeah, little sisters and little brothers, sometimes do that kind of thing. But yeah, nevertheless, Vero, that's a really important connection. That was a text to self connection. Did you have any others, or were those your 2?
Just these 2.
You know what I really like about that, even though it was the same part of the book, I really liked that it could be used 2 ways. The first example you gave was a text to text, and so you described it with another book, the Magic Treehouse book that somebody had stolen something out of their lunch in that book. And then you also did a text to self, and you used that same example with your own life. So that was really good. All right. Good job, Vero. Oops, I keep going to the wrong book. Darn it. Sorry. Okay, so we had, and it looks like Michael is not with us today, but I have a couple discussion director questions that we'll do at the end. Those are more of your critical thinking type of questions. And Will, like I said, Will was really sick this morning, so we do not have an illustration to show. Let's see. Oops, I did not mean to scroll over like I just did. So that leaves us with Lucas. Did you make some connections as well?
I accidentally did a quotable quarter
Oh, well,
ones by
that's
accident.
okay.
I
We
thought
don't
there was
mind.
2 quotable quarters.
Okay, well, you know what? We don't mind, do we? Nope, nobody minds. Okay. All right, so we will let Lucas share the parts of the book that he thought were important or funny or whatever.
Okay, let me see. Mind if I cough? Sorry.
Okay. And it's
Uh,
always really helpful if you write down the page numbers too, so that everybody can flip to that page.
Page 28. I found the part that I thought was I don't I it says in the text, I don't mind being alone after school, but I do in the morning before fog lifts and our cottage seems dark and damp. It makes actually I did make a kind of a connection here.
Okay.
Uh, It says makes me think of the movie Grapes of Wrath.
Oh, well, look at this. So this is awesome, Lucas. What you did is you made a connection and you found a part of the book that you thought was important. So, why did you make a connection to the Grapes of Wrath? How does it remind you of the Grapes of Wrath?
Like the fog in the cottage is dark and damp and all that.
Yeah, just okay. So the setting. So yeah,
Yeah.
the type of book or the type of setting that the both books were taking place in. That's great. And did you choose this part because it was a good description of what the morning in the cottage looked like?
Um, I think I just chose it because it just shot out at me the
Good.
just looking at it, reading through it.
Yeah, it was just what you thought was a good piece of writing. That's great.
Yeah.
All
Let
right,
me
Lucas, do you have another part that you'd like to share?
see here. If I do, okay. It says on page 32.
Okay.
It says when I write a book, maybe I'll call it the Great uh, Lunch Bag Mystery.
The lunch bag mystery. Okay. And why did you choose that part?
I think I did actually remember to do connections actually.
Okay.
So so that's why this second one is a connection too. Last year I had to read a short story called The Milk Mystery for a last year homeschool here.
Yeah.
I had to read this little short story called The Milk Mystery.
Very good. So you made the connection that was a text to text connection, right? Because it reminded you of a story that you've read before. Perfect. Awesome. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us, Lucas? Or
No, I just did two things.
That's perfect. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, I will go down to our last few questions that we're going to discuss as a class. So basically, I am going to act as our discussion director today with a couple questions. All right. Name 3 things that really bother Lee. So maybe if you want to type into the chat or raise your hand, maybe you could just give me one thing that really bothers him so that the other people can also participate. Okay, so I see some people typing into the chat. So a couple things that really bother him.
Um, um,
Go ahead, your microphones are on, so you can just verbally say it.
we know that.
Well, we know that the divorce really bothers him, right? Okay, and I have somebody else into the chat. He's bothered by runny noses. Runny noses. That's not quite as serious, but that bothers him. We also talked about this earlier, that his dad takes Bandit with him. Anything else that really bothers him?
I don't think so.
Okay. And Vero just typed in one more thing that bothers him when people steal from his lunchbox. Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
lunch bag.
Yeah, bag, whatever. Okay, lunch bag. Perfect. And then this is really cool. Lucas actually already answered this question for us. When Lee writes a book, what will he call it? Go ahead, Lucas.
He will call it the Great Lunch Bag Mystery.
Yeah, perfect. I was happy that you chose that question or that part of the book just a second ago to share with us because it actually tied in with one of my questions. Okay, so he'll call it the Great Lunch Bag Mystery. Notice how the title of a book, all of those words are capitalized, and I also underline. All right, so I need to share with you the next section that you're going to be responsible for reading. So you will be reading for your next section, and remember, it's not chapters, it's dates. December 22nd through January 31st. So go ahead and find a place to write that down so that you don't forget.
Yeah.
And then I want to remind you that our schedule is a little weird. We will not be in book club next Monday, but next Thursday instead. So you have a lot of time to do the reading, the book club job, and if you are one of those kiddos who has not done the discussion questions yet, you have a lot of time to do those as well. Remember, the discussion questions are part of your writing grade as well. Go ahead, Lucas.
You clicked off too fast. I was still trying to write January something.
There it is.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, guys, if you want to turn on your webcams and say goodbye to each other, that would be cool. Or just go ahead and type goodbye because we're done for the day. Bye. Good work, everyone.
Keep going. I need to write this.
Okay, all right.
December 22nd. Thing of a jig.
Okay. Did you get it down?
No,
Yep,
not
yep, thank you.
Okay. Bye,
not
Lucas.
yet.
Bye.
Okay, I got it down.
Okay, cool. All right. Bye, Jaden. Bye.